And then we'll go right into the questions.
Okay, so my name is Evelyn Navarro and I'm running for president of the JC. So I think I'll start with the topic of my slate because those are people who I love, and I think these are people who the students will love as well if they don't love them already. A lot of them are very well known. Currently, including myself, there are 10 members of my slate, and these are just some of the most amazing people I have met. These are some of the most talented people, intelligent people on campus, well-connected people on campus, and I don't say that lightly. The reason why I think the students should vote for them, starting with that, is because they are students themselves and they care about the students. And I know that seems such a vague kind of way to start, like, oh yeah, they're students, so they're gonna care about the students. But it kind of does come to that. As a student, you're caring about the issues that pertain to the student as well. And these folks have had a lot of disadvantages as well that students can understand. I mean, I know personally I've gone through homelessness. I know what it's like to not be able to have food in your pantry. I know what it's like not being able to have a secure home, and a lot of these students know what it's like to have a lot of disadvantages that a lot of students have as well. And so I think this is just perfect slate to demonstrate what the needs of the students truly are.
What's the name of the slate?
Students for Students. So the name of our slate is Students for Students because, like I said, we are students that caring for the students. This is by the students, for the students, and with completely the students in mind. As for myself, why I believe people should be voting for me is almost the same. I really care about the students, and I am a student myself, and I think it goes much deeper than that. It really is. I'm a returning student. And so coming back here, it's just you never think you're going to come back, first of all. And you already worked all this time and you're thinking, I'm already so far behind. I'm never going to get back to, like being a young person in school and, catching up on all these classes. But really, I think what makes this campus so beautiful is that we have such an arrangement of people on campus. As far as myself, what I really want to do for the students is demonstrate their needs and wants for this campus. Currently right now there are some systems in place to give students, for example, some kind of vouchers, coupons, like a few bucks for Fresh and Natural, to give students food so they can, instead of paying for cash. And I think that system isn't used as much as it should have. And what I will do if I am elected president is I will use that same voucher system and implement it for disadvantaged students that aren't able to get food from home, can't afford food, and just want to come to class, just want to be able to study, just want to be able to take their classes, and aren't able to do so because they're so worried about being able to eat, where their next meal is gonna be, if they can ask their friend for a couple bucks, if there's somewhere where they can find food. And I don't think that's just as a student of this campus to have to worry so much where your nourishment is going to come from. I think students should be able to come to campus, get some food, take their classes, and not worry about that. Additionally, I think that there's a huge problem with homelessness, not only on our campus, but in Sonoma County. But just pertaining to our campus, I think that the school could do so much more for those homeless students. There is an outrageous percentage of population of students that are homeless that aren't able to take showers, that sometimes just coming to campus is their only shower they're going to get for the day. Sometimes just asking their friends for a few bucks is the only meal they're going to get for the day. Or if they're lucky, somebody has an extra banana or extra bar or protein bar to share. That's the only food they get. And I think that these are some basic needs and concerns that students shouldn't have to worry about. Additionally to that, studies show that when you're having a shelter, when you're being nourished, that you do so much well on your studies and your classes. And a lot of these students may be using, for example, the BOG waiver, or maybe paying for themselves for their classes. And I think that the people who are using the BOG waiver, who are using resources that they are able to pay for their classes, that money is going to be well spent because they're going to do much better in their classes knowing that they actually have food in their bellies, or not having to worry about getting fed or about their homelessness or important issues like that. So, like I said, but the people on our slate, for example, Josh is part of our slate. Josh Pinola, I can never pronounce his last name, and Ryan Samson and Dory Elder are part of our slate. So Dory will be student life. Ryan is gonna be not sustainability. I always want to say sustainability. I
had the list there before.
Yes, I always mix those two. And with Josh, it would be with clubs, VP of clubs. And so these are individuals that know the disadvantages of the students by firsthand. For example, they are in clubs, they run clubs, they are presidents of clubs, so they already know those students that are having those disadvantages. So all it would be to identify those students, asking them exactly what they need, which has already been done various times to them, asking them what those needs are for them, for housing, for food, for shelter, really anything that is basic needs for them. And really just coming to the school and saying, hey, there are these students that they need these things. These aren't just wants. This isn't just some flippant one like, I don't know, just having a different kind of salad dressing or something like that. These are needs for the students. And so with these students and with, I guess, the coalition of the students we currently have on our slate, I think it's just the perfect time to really not ask, because we've been doing a lot of asking, demanding from our school to give our students what they truly need. Prior to this, since I knew I wasn't, I suppose, as advantaged of possibly, I guess, others that might be on different positions, I did a lot of research, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of just, I guess, personal training myself. I'm very fortunate that I have a very, as I said, educated slate, and many nights of questions, many questions. And of course, I have also been, I was part of this organization called Positive Images, where I was a co-facilitator for many years. I did a lot of leadership positions there. It was a lot of just group training. I also was part of MITRA for a very long time. I had a position there as well. I was pretty, I guess, helpful, and I was a head of a committee a few years back when it came to the Mecharazo Youth Conference. So I have a, experience with that as well. So I think I might not be, I suppose, to be completely honest, because I want to be as honest as possible to all the students, maybe not the most educated in that, but I do believe I'm a pretty quick learner, and I'm very excited to, I guess, learn more about that and to do more research into it myself. But I think as far as now, I'm pretty well. I would like to be more educated on it, but I think I'm pretty decently educated on it right now. So I think the first thing we're trying to implement is something to do with the parking crisis, because that is one of the biggest issues on campus right now. So right now, when people are trying to park anywhere near here, when people are trying to even get to their classes on time, I know y'all have been kind of suffering with that too. Everybody does. That nobody can get to their classes on the first couple weeks, and that's outrageous. There should be more parking. We've seen this campus grow, and it has grown with so many students in the last year. So why shouldn't the parking structures grow as well? Why should students have to pay for tickets or pay for anything for that matter? If we're already paying for the tickets for parking here, we're putting them in our cars, so we shouldn't have to pay additionally. Also, in addition to that, what we really want to implement as well is, which would be a little bit later, so maybe that's not as immediate, but I don't think people should be paying on campus on Sundays or on the Saturdays and Sundays. I know some classes are held. Yes, I know some classes are held on Saturdays, which I understand that. But if there's nobody on campus on a Saturday or Sunday, and if it's completely empty on the parking lot, there's no reason anybody should be getting a ticket. So I actually use the bus because I hate driving and I hate dealing with that as well. So I understand people use the bus all the time to avoid the parking issue, and I think that's an excellent point. I do definitely think that more people should use the public transportation, especially since some people just seem to just kind of like live around here and just take their car just to make it easier on them, just to kind of use it as like kind of a storage for them. And I think one of the ways that we can solve that is by utilizing more of her lockers on campus. I don't know if anybody really uses them anymore because I see very minimal usage of lockers. But I think if we were to, and I think this also comes down to a huge issue with marketing on campus. There is little to no marketing. Just a couple weeks ago, I asked people, yo, does anybody know that there was an event that happened that was sharing these really cool condoms and other really cool stuff that you could have partaken in? A lot of people didn't know that event even went on unless you kind of just live in that quad area or have classes around there. And I think a lot of our issues stem from that, from the lack of marketing that is done to really vocalize the services we have on campus, the events we have on campus, and what we can give students while on campus. So I think, like I was mentioning, one of the issues that would help, or one of the services that we can do to help them use public transportation more is vocalize more that there are public storage, I guess, lockers on campus, so that people aren't thinking, oh, where am I gonna put my stuff, my lunch, I'm gonna have to worry about it. So that's one. And I think the second is just plainly just marketing out bus usage more and more, because people aren't really trying to think about using the bus because they think it's, you know, there's stigma about it, and there really shouldn't be. And I think we can actually use this time to not only have a forum, but have a student-led forum, which is one of the things that I primarily want to do while being president, is lead more student-led forums to educate students. I think that is extremely important, to create more student leaders. I don't want to be in this position to be the only one to voice things out. I want other students to learn that they have a voice to be able to voice things out. And so I think if we have a forum saying, you know, we're bus users and we want to educate more students about using the bus and the advantages of using the bus, you know, saving money, you know, smaller carbon footprint. And I think it would relate to a lot of different students, the students that are trying to be more, you know, earth conscious, the students that are trying to be more budget friendly, you know, and the students are just kind of, you know, I don't want to drive an hour to school. I'd rather take the bus and let them drive me an hour to school where I can, you know, read or do some homework on there. I mean, that's at least what I do on the bus. So I think that would definitely help. I know that the bus prices have been raised a good amount. During the last few years. I remember when it was like still like $1 with 10 cents or so to go on the bus, and right now for me as an adult it's $1.50. And I think that does have a huge issue with the school, and I think for that circumstance I would like the school to offer, I know with the Sonoma County buses there is free free admission, I guess, onto the bus, but that's not the case on the city buses. And sometimes I see that those are the ones that are sometimes more used on certain hours. I mean, at least I do. I use those more. So I think that I think we should be offering that same, I guess, offer for the regular city buses as we do for the Sonoma buses. And I think that would be a discussion that we could have with city officials, which I would be more than privileged and grateful and more than willing to do so, and I know the people on my slate are more than willing to do so. Positions on the SGA, I haven't had any. As far as, I guess, leadership positions, I was on Positive Images, which is an LGBT organization designed to help youth from the ages from 12 to 24, and there I was there for about, I would say, 4 to 5 years. And the positions I had there were, I'm a certified peer counselor through them. I also had, I had almost every position there. It's a co-facilitator, which is the people that lead the meeting. I also was grounder, which is the people that calm down the people for the meeting. I led small groups, which is just, you know, leading smaller factions of people through whatever issue it is, kind of just helping them out. It's a lot like group therapy. Outreach coordinator for a time with them as well. I was usually their translator. I speak fluent Spanish, so that definitely helped a lot. In Mecha, I did have a couple leadership positions here and there, but there was nothing, I suppose, concrete as far as I'm just trying to help everybody out and just trying to educate people as much. I was the committee chair for the Mecha Raza Youth Conference for 1 year before I did take a couple years off of school. So that was super helpful. I was also co-president with Jaime Moreno, who's not a student this semester, unfortunately, but this was 3 years ago or so, and it was with QSA, which was Korea Student Alliance at the time. So those are the positions that I've had. So I am very fortunate to have friends of all walks of life. As far as my major is Chicano Latino Studies, so I will not tell you that my primary, vision is for Latino students or undocumented students, because I truly believe all students should be helped equally. There should be no bias. As far as what I'm informed in the most, it is Latino students, undocumented students, in those circumstances. But I am educating myself on the disadvantages of all students. And so for trans students, for LGBT students, for students of color, I don't think we're doing those students justice. I don't think we're actually, this campus is a safe haven that we say it is sometimes. I said this before, on the last about month or so, I've heard about 3 reports of about sexual harassment towards people. And people don't want to say anything because, well, they don't know any really of the SGA. They don't really know any staff. It's not inviting. It's not warm. It's not really somebody that you can approach. I mean, how many students really go to their SGA or go to, I guess, school officials to say anything? They don't want to, because it's just kind of cold and stony. And what I definitely want to do as president, and not only just as president, I want this for all students of the SGA, regardless if they're on my slate or not. Be warm, be friendly, be known by the students, not so we can say we're known, or not so we can just say that we're, I guess, the cool kids on campus, so that they can be known, so that if any student has any trouble, any student has any questions, any student wants to just say hello and make a friend, they recognize somebody on the student government and say, I have a friend in them. I have somebody that I can go to. I have somebody who can answer my questions. So first of all, y'all are too far away. Y'all are way too far away from
it's a better spot.
from the hubbub of what campus and the quad. I think y'all should be right in the quad, and I'm not just saying that too. Sweet talk, y'all. I really do think, because y'all are, I guess, some people's first source or first view on what's going on campus. And I say some people because some people see it at first hand, right? But for others, you know, we really look. I've been reading y'all like crazy lately.
What's your favorite story?
I think I read.
And why? So far.
I can't really share them because there've been like controversial stories that they've been really controversial stories, just about like what I really like about the Oak Leaf is that you guys are super blunt and honest, and aren't afraid to just kind of say it how it is, and aren't afraid to really just give the people the information they truly need, unbiased information. And that's what I really like about y'all. I understand that, you know, some stories have your personal touches, their own bias, because they need to be, because that's what they're made for. But for the most part, when it comes to really explaining what it's about, you know, our campus, y'all are really honest and really on it. And I think for my last kind of comment, because I think I'm there.
Yes.
This campus needs to be taken more care of, because it's not just about us. It's not just about anybody in this room. It's not just about myself, because for me, this is not about myself. This is about the generation that's here and the generation that is to come. This campus can be so much more beautiful. This campus used to be #1 in California, and now we're #3. And that is because the lack of care that we put to our students and to this campus. And that really translates to the outside world, because in the end of the day, this should be a beautiful experience and one of the most beautiful places in California. And this is not just about just staying in California. This is our students that are reaching out everywhere and being educated and being in professions all over the world. And so if we can just see it as not just one person, if we can see it as we are a whole, I think this campus will run so much more beautifully. And if elected president, I will make sure that that will be our primary focus.